So we've reached a total wrap on Portcon. This is the day after. All my stuff is in very unsacrimonious piles in my office right now. We'll worry about that later. So when it comes to Portcon, I will honestly say it is my favorite convention I've ever been to. It has some of the best people, and I know it's one of the larger New England conventions, so it really means a lot to me to be able to show up and be around people that are just as nerdy as me and care as much about the same silly little things as me, because I don't talk a lot about fandom online. I kind of avoid it sometimes without meaning to, just because I had some weird experiences when I was younger in fandom. And I know that it can be really, really intimidating to interact with somebody that you see, that you know from online. But like my favorite interaction that I had all weekend was with this younger person at the sketchbook swap on the second day, who I went over and I was handing them my sketchbook because that's how it works. And because they had raised their hand for a new sketchbook, and they looked at me and they went, "Are you melted vinyls?" And they yelled it at full volume, and it wasn't a very big room, so I think a lot of people like looked over at me. And then afterwards I had a bunch of people who, upon I think maybe getting over the social anxiety of asking the question somebody else did, were asking me to draw stuff for them, and I want them to know I loved doing that. I'm glad to give any young artist an inkling of inspiration. My whole mission statement with making my art and sharing how I make my art and why I make my art and how I approach making art is to give people the incentive to try, even if they don't necessarily have the means to do so. Because I started drawing with Sharpies and printer paper. I started selling my work when I was hand cutting stickers. The biggest thing that makes an artist is the audacity to keep showing up and creating something for yourself, for other people, for the love of making something. I want you to know I'm really, really glad for every experience that I've had at PortCon over the last 3 years, at any convention over the last few years. I will say there was one that didn't go very well, and I don't like to put things on blast because it wasn't anybody's fault. It was just a matter of arrangement. And like the people around me also weren't making as much money as they usually did at that con. So I think it was just a weird setup thing. But in the end, what I really want to say is, if you go to conventions and you talk to artists that you appreciate, I hope that they feel the same way I do. I hope that they see you the same way I do. Because there is something so incredibly validating about seeing real people who care about what you do, who want to see more from you, who genuinely are excited that you are still out there making something. Sorry, this is a really corny video, but I'm glad that you're making something. I love every single one of the sketchbook drawings that I got from all of the people at the sketchbook swap, regardless of quality, regardless of expertise, regardless of experience. I am going to hold on to them forever. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do what I do, for caring about my art, for caring about what I make that isn't just something else. Because I don't sell fan art. I sell my own art, and a lot of times it's really intimidating. It took so long to get into conventions because I had to make a name for myself. I had to have a reason to be in public for people to take me seriously. And it's still hard for me too, even though I get all of this support, all of these lovely comments, and people coming back year after year to be like, "I've come here every year since you've been here, and it's so exciting to see that you still come." And it's like, of course I'd be here. I wouldn't go anywhere else. If you came and talked to me at any point, if you said anything even remotely kind about my art, I want you to know I love you. Thank you. I really, sometimes it's hard out here, especially with AI and with everything going on in the art sphere right now. It's really, really difficult to. Sorry, I got a little emo there for a second. I had to stop. Anyways, I'll stop yapping. I just wanted to say thank you, and that I'm glad anytime somebody decides to try and pick up a pencil. I hope I can inspire one person to draw tomorrow, today, anytime. I think you can do it. And I believe in you. All right. Bye.